Hi everyone! So today I'm going to show you how to create a simple slab mug. So I've already cut out my template, so go ahead and cut out your template. And there's 3 pieces. There's the actual mug body that we will put together like so. And then we have our handle and our base. So place those off to the side for now. We'll need them in a minute. All right, so get our clay. We're gonna cut a piece off. All right, we'll go with that. Make sure to put your extra in your bag. Seal it up. Don't want that to dry out. And now, because I'm working on one of these like folding plastic tables, I know the clay is going to stick right to it. So I cannot roll out my clay on this table directly. So I'm just going to place my board off to the side for now. I'm going to grab my canvas and my dowel. So the first thing, just because this is kind of a thick piece, I'm just going to use my hand and push this down first. This is going to help. And you can peel it off, flip it over, just kind of work it a little bit. And if you need to release some energy, you can pound it too with your fist. It's going to be kind of loud, but you can pound it if you need to. And just kind of get it into a more manageable size piece, maybe an inch or so thick. Nice, even rolls with the dowel all the way from one side to the other. Nice equal pressure. And keep checking with your templates to see how big you need to go. Another handy thing is to peel it off, flip it over. Just makes everything nice and even, nice and equal. Okay, so now that we have our piece of clay and our templates can easily fit on there, then we're ready to go. So I'm going to smooth down my template onto the clay. You can take your knife and cut around the outside. Okay, so now that we have our pieces, I'm going to transfer these to my board just to get them out of the way. Now, all of these scraps, honestly, I would recommend keeping these. You can make things out of these. You can make pendants, you can make little magnets, and then afterwards you can glue the magnet to the back of the little ceramic piece. I mean, there's so much that you can do with just little slabs. You might even want to add little 3D elements to the outside of your mug. I would keep these and just put them back in your bag with your clay and just neatly put them in there. You can also use these for coils, so like rolling out coils to create a piece. So definitely keep these, don't ball them up, because we don't want to create air bubbles in the clay by folding the clay on top of itself. So I'm gonna save these for a coil project, which I will demo and have out this week. So stay tuned for the coil project. Okay, so we're all done with our canvas and our rolling pin. We don't need those anymore. So now that we have our pieces, at this stage, this is when I like to go and just smooth out all of these edges. And some of them are pretty rough, you can see. I'm just gonna go around just with my finger, just smooth those out. And if you do need water, just tiny bit, flick off the excess and just run your finger along the edge just to make that nice and smooth. You're also going to have some canvas texture on your clay, and if you don't like that, you can easily smooth that out with your finger. Okay, so all of my pieces are nice and smooth, and now I'm just gonna set my handle and my base just off to the side off my board because I need the room to put this together. So we need our fork for scoring, and we need our slip. When I put this together, I'm going to overlap these just a little bit. So I'm just placing them together right now. Just kind of show you what I mean. So they're just slightly overlapping. Just like that. I need to score on this outside and this inside. So that is what the scoring should look like. Okay. Little bit of slip on one side. Just like that. Now, gonna bring these together. Make sure everything is just smushed right together, gently at first, just to make contact with both sides. And I have my hand in the inside for support, like this, inside, and then I'm pushing very lightly on the outside. And you can see the slip is starting to kind of ooze out a little bit, and that's good. We want to make sure we have a really good bond. So I'm going to flip this back over because it's easier when it's standing up like this. So I like to smooth out the lip, and I kind of fold this clay over on itself a little bit. So I'm folding that little bits on the top, folding that over and just smoothing that right into the rest of the clay so it's nice and seamless. If you want, you can blend out this seam. I actually really like the seam, so I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna go in with my brush. I'm just gonna clean that up a little bit, just getting it a little wet. There. So I folded over that top edge, and that's what it looks like now. And now I'm going to do that to the bottom. The other thing I like to do with hand-built mugs is try to completely smooth out that interior seam inside there. And the reason why I do that is because of the easiness to clean it. So after you've actually used the mug, you know, had your coffee or your tea, and you go to clean it, I just find that it's easier to clean if you don't have that edge in there, but you can leave it. That's totally fine. Okay, so now that we have our cup, we need to grab our base. See how it fits on the base. Now it's going to be a little bit bigger than the actual mug, and that's okay. Yeah, it's sticking out a little bit on the sides. So I know that I have a lot of room to work with, which is good, and you can always trim that off after. So grab your fork, and we're going to score. Now I'm gently pushing down on my mug, gently pushing down. You can tap it on the table. Just make sure it's secure enough for you to flip it over. And now I'm just gently pushing down where that makes contact. Making sure that's a really good bond. So now I'm going to trim off this excess on the sides. Just going to smooth out this edge again. If you need to use a little water, you can do so. I have a tiny bit of overhang, and I'm just going to blend it right up. This is going to make this super secure. We don't want any cracks. We don't want anything falling apart. We want to be able to use this mug. So I am doing this just to help with that stability. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to clean up that inside. And now you can shape your mug too. It doesn't have to be a circle. We can turn this into, you can turn this into a square mug. I'm like sliding my fingers down the side with my finger on the inside to create these angles. So now comes the handle. Now, after you cut this out, you can change the shape of this. It does not have to stay this rectangle shape. You can have like some curve in it if you want, or you can just make your own. You don't even have to cut out that template. I have my handle here, and I'm just gonna place it on my mug. Kind of get an idea of how big you want your handle. And I know this is way too big, so I'm going to cut part of this. And just put the handle wherever you like. It can be more at the top of the mug, it can be at the bottom of the mug. It can be as big or as little as you'd like it to be. It's all about your preference. And when you're doing this, think about your favorite mug, the one that you gravitate towards, that's in your cupboard, and maybe try that kind of handle. See how that works. So once you have your handle shape, I like to just make sure it's nice and straight, and then I'll take one of my tools and I'll mark where it's gonna sit, just gently. You're not cutting through. Just marking where it is. And take that off. Now we're going to score those. And now, because I have those guides on there, I can place my handle. So I'm putting my hand on the inside for support and just pressing down nice and gently on my handle where it meets the mug. I'm going to blend this inside where the handle curves up. I'm going to blend that into the mug. That's going to create stability, and it's also going to just help it hold its shape, stay in place during this part. And now this is really important for handles. I'm gonna go back in. I have some little scraps of clay right here, and I'm gonna just roll this out a little bit into a nice coil so it's nice and round. It's still malleable for me to be able to do that. And I'm gonna stick this right here where the handle meets the body, and I'm gonna blend that together. And that's gonna create stability. It's gonna make it a lot harder for your handle to want to like pop off. It's going to give it that structure and support. So I'm just going to place that right in there. I'm going to bring it down the side a little bit too. All right, I'm gonna add a little embellishment to my handle. Just cutting off this little piece that I had left over from my original handle shape. And I think I'm gonna put it right here, kind of like a thumb rest right here. So I'm gonna attach that on there. You can also press things into the clay, flowers, leaves, doilies, really anything you can imagine. Just make sure to peel it off. If there are some leaves or flowers or any sort of like organic material that's stuck in the clay that you can't get out, just leave it. It's fine. It'll burn away in the kiln and it won't be an issue. So yeah, and you can also paint this right away with those underglazes if you would like, or not. So that is today's mug demo. I hope this was super helpful for all of you, and I will be back in about a day or so, and I will show you how to make a coil jar, which will give us the basics of how to make a coil pot, but also how to make a usable, functional jar. So anyways, have a great day everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.